Why are you here, Mr. Clarkson?
Well, because I'm here to support farmers.
Right. Are you angry?
It's difficult to be angry on somebody else's behalf. That's like being... Yes, no, I'm not angry on someone else's behalf.
So one of the reasons Rachel Reeves says she brought this in is to stop wealthy people using it as a way
No,
of
that was the
avoiding-
only reason she did.
Well,
Why
no, the other reason was to raise money for public services.
It's not the fact that I bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax. The fact.
You told the Sunday Times in 2021 that's why you bought it.
These people.
Sorry?
BBC.
Elon Musk, the billionaire maverick, just called out Keir Starmer after Jeremy Clarkson's arrest. What's the real story behind this unexpected clash of Titan? In a twist that's got everyone talking, Musk didn't just criticize, he shared a beer with Clarkson. Is this a simple show of support or a calculated move in a larger political game? The answer might surprise you. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Elon Musk's Twitter storm in support of Jeremy Clarkson caught many off guard. The tech titan's sudden interest in UK affairs stemmed from Clarkson's arrest over a planning dispute at his diddly squat farm.
The real reason I bought the farm was because I wanted to shoot. So I thought if I told a bunch of people that I'd bought a farm so I could shoot pheasants, if she'd have wanted to take out the likes of James Dyson and investment bankers and so on, she would have used a sniper's rifle. But she's used a blunderbuss and she's hit all this lot. The real reason I bought it is because I wanted to shoot.
But you oppose what the government's proposing?
Oh God, yes. I mean, as I've said in the past, it might look bad, so I thought I'd better come up with another excuse. I said, well, the inheritance tax. I actually didn't know about inheritance tax until after I'd bought it.
Right.
I didn't mind.
Clarkson, known for his outspoken nature and recent foray into farming, found himself at odds with local authorities over expansion plans for his farm shop. Musk, never one to shy away from controversy, saw this as an opportunity to weigh in on what he perceived as government overreach. The unlikely pairing of Musk and Clarkson raised eyebrows across the political spectrum. On one side, we have Musk, a Silicon Valley innovator pushing the boundaries of technology. On the other, Clarkson, a TV personality turned passionate advocate for British farmers. Their worlds couldn't seem further apart, yet they found common ground in their frustration with bureaucratic red tape.
It's Harry from The Sun.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to come along and support farmers.
How do you think it's went?
Well, I mean, it's too big a crowd to have a march, so that's... I mean, a lot of farmers today, let's not forget, are on gritting duties.
Yeah.
I know two who weren't able to be here today because they feel obliged to clear the roads of snow. No, subtler. Subtler. Well, it's a fine column for perhaps next Saturday.
How many people do you reckon was out there? You could see back there?
Yeah, there's a big old crowd, but we knew there would be.
Public reaction to Musk's involvement was mixed. Some welcomed his outsider perspective, seeing it as a fresh take on UK politics. Others questioned his motives, wondering if this was just another publicity stunt. Regardless of opinion, Musk's tweets ignited a firestorm of debate, highlighting the growing influence of social media on political discourse. As the online chatter intensified, Musk took things a step further. In a move that sent shockwaves through social media, he shared a photo of himself and Clarkson enjoying a pint at a local pub. This wasn't just any beer, it was a symbolic gesture of solidarity, a visual representation of their shared frustration with the system. The pub meeting between Musk and Clarkson became more than just a photo op. It symbolized a growing alliance between tech innovators and traditional industries, united in their push for less government interference. Their shared beer became a rallying cry for those feeling stifled by regulations, sparking conversations about the balance between progress and preservation in rural communities. This unlikely alliance between Musk and Clarkson points to a broader shift in political dynamics. It shows how global figures can influence local issues, and how social media can amplify voices of dissent. As we'll see, this is just the beginning of a larger story unfolding in British politics, one that's reshaping the relationship between leaders and the public they serve. As social media amplified voices of dissent, another form of disconnect was taking shape in British politics. Keir Starmer's campaign trail echoed with assurances to to farmers and pensioners. Yet in the cold light of day, these promises faced a harsh test. How would the British public respond when faced with the gap between words and action? Starmer's pre-election rhetoric painted a rosy picture for rural communities and older citizens. He assured farmers that his inheritance tax plans would only affect the wealthiest among them, promising to protect the majority from financial burden. Pensioners, too, were wooed with pledges of support and protection against rising living costs. These promises set high expectations, with many voters placing their trust in Starmer's vision for a fairer Britain. But as Starmer took office, the reality began to diverge sharply from his campaign promises. Farmers, far from feeling protected, found themselves at the sharp end of policies they believed would only impact the elite. The agricultural community's anger boiled over into large-scale protests, with thousands braving freezing conditions to voice their discontent. These weren't just demonstrations about tax increases. They symbolized a deep-seated feeling of betrayal and neglect. Pensioners, meanwhile, found themselves struggling with a cost of living crisis that Starmer's policies seemed ill-equipped to address. The focus on cutting costs and raising taxes left many older citizens feeling that the promises made during the election campaign were nothing more than empty words. The sense of disillusionment spread, with Elon Musk pointedly observing that the farming community isn't alone in its disillusionment. Pensioners, too, are feeling the pinch. As frustration mounted, the public's response took shape in the form of a massive petition. Over 2.5 million signatures demanded change, a clear indicator of the widespread dissatisfaction with Starmer's leadership. The sheer scale of this movement, combining the voices of farmers, pensioners, and everyday workers, showcased a nationwide sentiment of frustration and a desperate call for political accountability. Yet, in a move that would further widen the chasm between the government and the people, Starmer's response to this outcry was one of dismissive indifference. His reaction, or lack thereof, to the petition only served to highlight the growing divide between the political elite and the public they claim to serve. It left many wondering, in a democracy, how can the voices of millions be so easily ignored? As the dust settles on this political storm, the divide between UK leadership and public sentiment has never been more apparent. Starmer's dismissive response to the massive petition has left many questioning the very foundation of British democracy. The alliance between Musk and Clarkson, unlikely as it may seem, highlights a growing trend of tech influencers stepping into the political arena. This tension isn't just a fleeting moment in British politics. It could reshape the landscape for years to come. The public's disillusionment with traditional leadership opens the door for new voices and unconventional alliances. We're seeing a shift where social media moguls and TV personalities wield as much influence as career politicians. But what does this mean for the future of UK democracy? As tech giants like Musk increasingly sway public opinion, we must ask, are we witnessing the birth of a new political order or the erosion of established democratic norm? The answer may well determine the course of British politics for generations to come.